4, 3. Everybody, welcome to Biz Talk, the show. You guys keep it down over there. I have been waiting for this interview. I wish I had more than 15 minutes to give you. So you're going to have to come back again. But I am sitting with Sheila Harris-Adams, who is a beast in the business community, as a massive supporter. If you don't know the name, look it up. Harris-Adams, it's hyphenated. You currently have a position at as a regional director, NJSBDC.
Correct.
And you're currently the chair of NOC AD Lakehurst Roundtable?
Small Business Roundtable.
Small Business Roundtable. Mm-hmm. So why is that so important? SBDC is obviously important. And we've talked about this many times on the show, so you don't mind if I gloss over that a little bit, right? So let's talk about a little bit about your background and jump into the whole NOC AD thing.
So 30 plus years in government contracting. I still have my hair, still alive, still kicking. The plus means I'm not telling you how long it's really been, but it's been a minute. And, you know, work with local, state, and federal, but I specialize in the DoD sector, what it looks like to be successful in that world. And I've been a small business advocate for about 15 years now.
Okay, and that's how we met. Mm-hmm. You were at the time, it was PTAC counselor. First phone call, I wanted to quit PTAC after I spoke to you.
And I told you no. I said, take advantage of the resources that our tax dollars are already, using.
So we call PTAC Apex now. Apex
it is.
Salary,
it
right?
is.
Right.
It
But
is.
then you left there. Mm-hmm. Right. And we took advantage of the tax dollars.
Right.
We did. And then you left there, and then we connected up after that.
Started my own business.
Started your own business. Mm-hmm. And we've been going strong ever since. So tell me a little bit about, because here's the thing that I think even with us, like looking at FAR regulation, that's complicated, but now you have DFARS, which is the defense, right? So that gets even more complicated. Mm-hmm. And I think that scares a lot of people off. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not going to tell you, when I saw DFARS, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'll stay over here on this side. FARS, by the way, FARS is Federal Acquisition Regulation.
Correct.
Yep. Federal Acquisition Regulation. Government likes its acronyms.
They love their acronyms.
So tell us a little bit about the contracting with the military, and again, because I said you're with this NOC AD Lakehurst Small Business Roundtable.
Yeah,
we need
mouthful.
We need to
so
more acronyms.
NOC AD, we're not going to go over the acronym. It basically is the air side of the Navy. So whatever it takes to get that plane to land or take off from a moving vessel is what they do. Right? So that could be a crane, that could be the tow line, it could be parts, it could be the asset itself. A lot of people don't know the Navy has planes that are their assets, and so all of that's a part of what NOC AD supports. Billions of dollars worth of contract activities to support that mission. So that's who NOC is. So
yeah, I like that you mentioned parts, because I think the other thing we see with small businesses, when they think Department of Defense, military contracting, they are thinking big. They're like, oh my God, I need giant radio towers. I don't sell radio towers. I sell the transistor that goes into the radio tower. Right? But that's all, if it's not purchased directly, it's purchased by the contractor that's building those things.
Right.
So this is where people, I think, get lost when they hear the whole military thing.
Right. There's not too many places, or there's not too many things, goods or services that the government doesn't procure. Right? There's a few, but not many. And so there's a chance. There are opportunities in that sector. DoD is an interesting place to play. Really, I think it always comes down to your desire to support the mission, because at the end of the day, that's what we're supporting. The men and women that are out there doing what we're asking them to do for our country.
Right.
But it's not an easy process. It's not impossible, but it's not easy. I was talking to someone the other day, and I said, she said, I went to this workshop. It was great, and it was called Government Contracting in 5 Easy Steps. How much did you spend for that? $500. Okay.
$100 a step.
So here's the issue. Anytime you hear government contracting and easy, you should run. There's no such thing. And the people that are teaching you those things have not really played here. If they played here specifically as a contractor, they will tell you it's not easy. And that's for people who are successful and people who are not. But it's not impossible. And so part of it is really understanding what that looks like and how to navigate that world.
Yeah, and you know, I could say this, I remember going after a contract for NASA. And what had happened was when they issued the RFP, the request for proposal, we went to town and worked on it. And then they reissued it. And we had to go to town and work on it again. And I missed some of the reissues. So by the time I submitted our RFP, our response, you know, we were rejected. So when I got into the debrief, no joke, I'll never forget this. There's 4 people in this debrief, right? And I said, so where did I go wrong? And they said, you didn't comply. And I said, what do you mean I didn't comply? And all they could say to me was, you didn't comply. There was no elaboration. There was no nothing. There was nothing left for me to debrief out of to try to figure out what I didn't comply over. And the reality was that I didn't keep up on the reissuances, so my proposal didn't comply. It was that simple. So yeah, it's definitely not 5 easy steps.
There's no such thing. There's no such thing. But there are steps, and I call them rules of engagement. And you just need to know what those are. And you need to also understand that every agency is different.
Yeah.
So even within the Navy, there are a million different, there's NAVAIR, there's NAVSUP, there's NAVSES. You're like, what is all that? They're all different. And the way they procure and how they do business is different. The FARs exist. Those are the governing mechanisms, but the way they do business within their specific agency or even that contracting office is different. And you have to understand what that looks like before you jump in. I think most contractors just see an opportunity. I can do it. They put all this time and resources into going after it. They don't know the first thing about that agency, how they procure, how they buy, what kind of contracts they use. They have no idea it's like marrying someone, love at first sight, or marriage at first sight, whatever that show is. It's a show. It's funny. It's interesting. It's not reality. You should date someone before you marry them. You have a better chance of that relationship lasting. It's the same thing in government contracting. You shouldn't be trying to marry someone the first time you see an opportunity. That should not be the first time you've looked at that agency. You need to know them inside out, how they do, what they do, and whether or not you really have a shot at winning it.
Yeah.
Because the time you put in is time you can't get back.
Yeah, it's money. It's your money. Absolutely. Absolutely. So what's from your experience in general, I mean, again, you've probably already given that advice, but let's find, what's a piece of advice for maybe somebody, maybe DoD stuff's too big for somebody just starting out. So
Right.
where does somebody who's interested in getting into selling to the government, where's a good spot to get that green person? Where's a good place to maybe begin?
So the first place to begin is not to start there.
Okay.
The first place you begin is you build your commercial business. That needs to sustain you.
Right.
Because no matter where you play, local, state, or federal, it is a very long sales process. Very long. So if you are just leaving a job and you're starting a business, and I'm going to work in government contracting, you need to decide, well, unless you're independently wealthy, you have to figure out how that business is going to survive while you begin to build business in that sector. Mm-hmm. But if you are at a place where you're ready to get started, the first step is to do your research. I can't emphasize that enough, to look backwards. Look at that organization, how they do, everything that they do. Who are the players? All of those things. You can learn so much from research, and that's the first step. And then you look forward. You look at forecast. Where are they planning on spending their money? Is it in the world that I play in? Is it not?
Right.
It's not the Bible, but it's a start.
It's a start. Yeah.
And then you start looking in the near term. But in the meantime, while you're doing all those things, you have to build relationships. Even in the government sector, it is relationship driven.
Right.
So if I had to pick a place where you have to start and you want to play in the government sector, it's going to depend on what you do.
Right.
Maybe it's local, maybe it's state, maybe it's federal. Maybe it's a sister agency like a port authority or someone like that. You just have to figure out where you want to work. Okay. Because whatever time you spend going after that opportunity is money. So you have to decide where you're going to have the best opportunity to win.
Okay. And if let's say somebody's now, they've done everything you said. We've got our commercial side, we're well seated, we have business, and maybe they're working in the local sector, government contracting, whatever, maybe landscaping for the local municipalities.
Right.
But they want to now push through. They want to level up. Municipalities is not enough, or et cetera. Where are they starting to? Who are they calling maybe, or where are they starting to go to get into that playground of pushing into a bigger potential client?
Events. And I'm not saying that because we're here to talk about Procurement Con Atlantic City, but the truth of the matter is that's one of those places where you can really, in a short period of time, in a specific space, for a minimum amount of investment, you can get a lot of bang for your buck. You can learn, you can network, and you can meet the key players.
Right.
That's where you get bang for your buck. And if you are focused on a specific agency, you need to live wherever they live, so you can learn as much as you can about them, but not only that, find out what kind of opportunities are available. They need to know you, and you need to get to know them. So these events are game changers, and if you go in the right way, you're ready and prepared to learn and to listen and to network and to turn something into nothing or nothing into something, however you'd like to say it, then these kind of events can be game changers for the right business owners.
And I'm glad you segued into that. So talking about Procurement Con, we have Procurement Con coming up in November in Atlantic City, Procurement Con Atlantic City at the Golden Nugget, right? That's November 12, 13, and 14. And you will be there.
I will.
Representing
Nauke D. Lakehurst Small Business Roundtable. I will be bringing the team out. We are going to be there to talk to you about all things federal contracting, specifically Department of Defense. So if you've ever wanted to play there and you're curious about what it looks like and you want to learn from the individuals who've already done this successfully, you want to come out and make sure you stop by and see us and visit some of the vendors that we're bringing, some of our friends, some of those folks that we'd like to do business with, but also some of the subject matter experts that know what it takes to be successful in that world.
Fantastic. And is there anywhere you want to tell people they could find you? LinkedIn or?
You connect with me on LinkedIn. Everything is there. But there's so much power in LinkedIn. That's a whole nother conversation. But connect with us on LinkedIn. We have all kinds of information about workshops and upcoming events, and we always have resource information as well.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you. And I'll see you guys where? Procurement Con, Atlantic City.
That's it.
November 2024.
That's it. We'll see you there. Follow, like, subscribe, and keep watching because we'll be bringing more guests from the event. We're out.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.